How dare you!
You have stolen my childhood with your honest reviews, and my controller is the best. I will be disliking you till the end.
How dare you!
What?
That speech reflects the growing public outrage.
Not again! What's up YouTube? Welcome to Roman Does Consumer Tips, and today we're looking at quite a few controllers for Nintendo Switch. And this on me is not a parachute, it's not a backpack, this is Woojer. If you want to know what Woojer is, this is a haptic response vest, and the rest I'll tell you about it in my next video. So make sure you hit that subscribe and like button to keep up to date with the video when it comes out. But going back to the controllers, I scavenged them from all corners of Amazon with one sole purpose: to find out if the cheaper ones are worth it and if they're comparable to the more expensive ones. And the results are actually interesting. Here's the price range for all the controllers that I have on my desk right now. So let's see what works and what doesn't. On the first side, all these controllers are identical to each other, more or less, and you would expect them to function in about the same manner. But is it so? Let's find out. And as you expected, this is the last and the most expensive controller on my list. This is the original Nintendo Switch Pro controller, and let's see if it's any better than any of my earlier presented controllers for half or even less price. The packaging is very simple on this controller, there's nothing else inside except for the wire. And here is the controller itself. It's made in this partially transparent plastic all over the place, and it definitely has some weight to it. Additionally, the grips, even though they're plastic, they do have this nice texture that doesn't slip out from your hands easily. When you play in the games, let's see how responsive it is. Thumbsticks, they're on the longer side as well, compared to the original Joy-Con, but not as tall as the Horis controller on the other hand here. Now, when you play in the games with the Pro controller, the vibration is exactly where it's supposed to be. So the vibromotors, they're properly made on the Pro controller. Then the overall response to the buttons is pretty good. I cannot really complain about it. And these side buttons, they're big enough for you to press. So if you have larger hands, it's easier for you to press these buttons than the buttons on the original Joy-Con. The gyro, however, it's not as responsive as what GameSir provides, but it's actually pretty good as well. Like, it's natural there, it's not too bad, it's not too great. I would say it's decent, it's great. So definitely GameSir did better gyro response. I have no idea how they achieved that. Maybe it's actually a cheaper part. Maybe that's how it's not supposed to be. No idea, but I personally preferred the gyro response from this controller to the Pro controller. The original controller also has several different layers of the vibrations there, so when you're jumping and landing, for example, it vibrates in one way. When you're doing other things, it vibrates in another way, and that's I think how the game was intended originally. But now my main question is this controller worth it? Yes, if you're playing on TV, maybe you want something bigger to play with than the original Joy-Cons, but I think the original Joy-Cons are more than enough for Nintendo Switch. Yes, I'm gonna get some haters now saying that I'm idiot, I'm stupid, and I don't understand anything about how it should be played, but I think this is the best way to actually play games on Nintendo Switch. Just two separate Joy-Cons. Make sure you wear the strap, and really like the response and everything works great on this thing. All the vibration, actually vibration is better on the original Joy-Cons than on the Pro controller. Responsiveness to the button press and everything else is better on the Joy-Con, I think. With the only minor downside that the buttons are tiny, and again, if you have larger hands, it's pretty hard to play with. So if Shaquille O'Neal is watching my videos, then Shaq, these controllers are not for you, go for something bigger, go for a Pro controller instead. At least you would be able to press the buttons.
How do you feel about this little guy?
Well, I'm not gonna say it's the worst one.
Of the two?
Of the two, I will probably give this a 5 out of 10.
5 out of 10 for this.
And since Switch already comes with this original holder for your Joy-Cons, it It really creates a great and awesome controller altogether that really nothing can beat. I would recommend to anyone who is on a budget and looking at buying the additional controller, just avoid it, guys. You don't need any of these controllers as long as you have this. This is all you need. But then if you still need the additional controller, maybe consider the GameSir or one of these generic wireless controllers. My final verdict, yes, this is the original hardware for Nintendo. It works good, it works pretty well, and as intended, definitely goes on the left side with all the good stuff. And it's probably, because of the vibration, it's probably one of the better controllers that we tested today. But I think the GameSir controller comes pretty close, and if they fix the vibration response to work as it does on original Nintendo controllers, I think Nintendo got a problem there. Now, before I sum up this video, let's make sure you hit that like and the subscribe button and the bell icon below. Let's tickle those YouTube algorithms and help other people find this video, as I think it would be helpful to many folks just like yourself. Now back to the controllers. As we discovered, the price and brand don't really matter that much when you're buying an additional controller for your Nintendo Switch, but what matters is the vibration response, the built-in gyro, and the overall tactile feel of the controller. And with that said, I have to say that all the Hori controllers turned out to be horrible. Maybe that's why the entire brand is called Hori, but definitely avoid them. They're not worth it, and they're on the mid to higher range of the price scale here. At the same time, try to avoid any of the random controllers just like this one, since many of them are poorly made and the overall longevity of this controller are questionable. How long will it last? Then we covered some of these funny shaped controllers by the same company, by the way, who makes one of these. And I can tell you that if you're buying it for the kids, this could be a good choice, as long as your kids are careful with their toys. Then we have one of these controllers that I prefer to like most of this on the table. And for its price, I think it does pretty good job. It feels solid and well built. Definitely something that any user on a budget should check out. Then we have the Pro Controller, the original Pro Controller by Nintendo, and to be honest, I'm slightly disappointed because for the price point, it's not really worth it. Yes, it's not as expensive as the Pro Controllers for Xbox, let's say, but still, I personally feel like the original Joy-Cons that come with the Nintendo Switch are doing job just fine. And the only reason why I would choose the Pro Controller by Nintendo over, let's say, the GameSir, which I really liked, is the vibration. But if your games don't require that specific tactile, precise vibration, then maybe GameSir is actually a great alternative, because it can be paired with a lot of other devices, it has great sensors built into it for the gyro, and the overall features, even that additional hook for the cell phone, are definitely a plus. So it's unbeatable at its price point across all these controllers, except for the Pro Controller and of course the original Joy-Cons. Here's a quick Roman score for all these controllers. And on that note, I'll see you again. Make sure you're subscribed, because some cool videos coming out shortly. See you soon.